All right, all right. It is okay. Now it's 1 o'clock. It is 1 o'clock. It is time to get the Monday message started. I was super excited, to be on the call today. We have a lot of really good content coming, a lot of special guests coming on. So I don't want to take up too much time, but we had a really great week last week. Even with the big Alaska trip, a lot of our agents were gone, but a lot of them were still getting policies sent through. A lot of our newer agents were still killing it, in their first few weeks here. So just really excited to go over a few numbers with you guys, and then we'll get right into the content. Like I said, we have a lot of really special guests coming on. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. Let's see. Everybody should be able to see this now. But first, we're going to go ahead and start off with weekly submitted. And again, we're still kind of getting iffy data, from the carriers when it comes to weekly submitted, especially when it comes to e-apps. So just when you're on the Discord server, just go ahead and get in the cadence of just submitting those numbers. There's an automated message that gets sent out every Thursday. So please submit your numbers so we can recognize, the work that you're doing. So starting here with all producers over 1,000 with weekly submitted. Steven, the boss man here, even while he was still in Alaska, still sneaked in a policy there. Then we go to Aaron Wilson, Kayvon, Andre, Ryan, Jude, Ahmad, all over 1,000. Now we're getting into 2,000, submitted last week. So we start off with Jonathan, then go to Allison, Camille, Danny, David, Mimi Romero. Again, she'll be on the call today. So it's still in the trip, but still submitted almost 3,000 last week over a couple of policies while, in Alaska. That's it's a pretty baller move, not gonna lie. Then we go to David, now getting to the 3,000 range. Mercedes, also submitted over 3,000 over 3 applications. Anna there with 2 applications for about 3,500. Sarah, there with 2 apps for 3,900 last week. Hutch, Mark Hutchinson himself, 4,500 last week over 5 applications. Then we get into Kira, $4,838.64 over 2 apps last week. Now let's get into the top 5. So top 5 for the week. Number 5 coming in, Jeremico himself, $4,955.20 over 8 applications. Cole with $5,715.96 over 4 applications last week. David coming in with $7,568 over 6 applications last week. Janet, $8,654.40 over 11 applications. That's a lot of work. That's put in work for sure. 11 applications. Way to go, Janet. And then Mercedes, number 1 last week, $10,600 even over 8 applications. Way to go, Mercedes. All right, now we'll get to the top 5 paychecks. This is my favorite, slide here. It's the result, of all of those policies being submitted. So coming at number 5 last week, Mike Guerra, coming in with $3,838.27 as a deposit. Kath here working with us at the base shop, 5,000 last week as a paycheck. I know she just ran her first seminar, so she's starting to have a lot of those trusts coming in, and got a lot of follow-ups for a lot of big annuities coming up. So you expect her numbers to really start skyrocketing. Mercedes last week, $6,243 as a paycheck. Mark Hutchinson, $6,539 last week. And number 1, Sana, hope I'm saying that right. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but Sana there with $11,493.03. Not a bad paycheck. That's not a bad pay week there. That's awesome. No, congratulations. Number 1 paycheck for last week. Now we're looking at the top 5 year-to-date producers. We can kind of see where things are at so far. Just a little over halfway through the year now. We have Aaron Wilson at number 5. Nick Greco there at number 4. David Helgeson, number 3. Jeremico himself, number 2. There with 161 applications, about 135,000 production this year. And then number 1, Adam Burge, $224,788.11 over 81 applications so far for the year. Way to go, guys. And you'll get to hear from all these people here in just a few minutes. And then, diving into recruiting last week, Mercedes, there with 2 fast tracks, which led to 2 contracts. Base shop here, 7 fast tracks with 2 contracts last week. Again, on top of the weekly submit numbers, recruiting numbers, we also don't get any data from. So please also report those numbers as well on Thursdays to us so that we can recognize the work that you're doing because that's the biggest thing. So then this is Cabo leaderboards here. I'm not going to read off all these names because there's a lot there, but we kind of see people are getting even closer. David there, almost. Other David is also almost there. Adam and Cindy Burge already qualified for Cabo, which is awesome. They've had a really big productive year so far, and they're going to tell you a little bit more about why getting to Cabo is so important, and how to do it. So the why, but also the how. So I think we got all of our guests on. Those are all the numbers I wanted to go over. Jeremico, I think you're on here, man. So I'm gonna turn things over to you. It's great to see you. Hope you guys enjoyed Alaska. Excited to hear all about it.
Yes, yes, yes. Man, we are back from Alaska. My name is Jeremico Edwards. Thank you. Thank you again, Chandler, for those leaderboards. Um, so my name is Jeremico Edwards, and yes, we are back from our Alaskan cruise. And let me tell you, you do not want to miss. Look, here's one of the hats they gave us. I don't know if y'all can see that, but it says Alaskan Adventure 2024. So like all the gifts that we got from the trip, like we're still sorting things out and just seeing where we can put stuff. Like we like you leave packing your bags, but then you have to have room in your bag for all the gifts that you get from the trip to bring back with you. Man, it has been a phenomenal 8 days. Um, so the organization of the trip is insane. So I've been with the business for 10 years now. And the trips, like this is my eighth Alliance trip. And it's like the trips keep getting better and better. Jennifer, she organizes the trips. And like the way she organizes things, the way she has us set up, the trips are almost dummy proof. So if you've ever traveled and you get lost, when you take a trip with the Alliance, you're going to be spoiled. Like if you try to take your own trip, you're going to be lost because Jennifer and Tia keeps things organized for us where you can pretty much turn off your brain and they do the thinking for you. So it's truly a vacation. Whereas when you go yourself, it's like, okay, you have, okay, where we're going to go next, where we're going to go next, you got to think of this, think of that. Whereas like we have a whole itinerary. And so we truly came back from a vacation and now like my wife and I we have to turn our brains on now, so it's like, okay, all right, so what are we supposed to be doing? You're not cooking for yourself, you're not cleaning for yourself. It's been truly a relaxing vacation. um and just the association, y'all listen, if you can get on these trips and get around the Adam Burgess and the Mimis and the Stephen Davies and the Andy Albrights, you can just talk to them and chill. Let me help you understand. Listen, you can't take a trip with better people. When you're around winners, people who's trying to keep their families out of poverty, people who want to get their families to the next level, those trips are different than trips with your auntie and uncle or trips with your grandma, trips with like family trips. So we're like family, but everybody's trying to win and go to the next level. So it's a different feeling than you going with your family. It's a different feeling. So you gotta do both. I'm just telling you, when you go with the Alliance family, it's different because you're going with a group of people who want to go to the next level. And so every day is fun. Every day, I mean, everything we get involved in is fun and it's competitive, and you're going to enjoy it. Like we did a scavenger hunt on the trip. And so you had to run through the ship and find these different things. That was something that NAA created. So they created a scavenger hunt and then they put us all in it. And it's like we have fun running around the ship. It was crazy. So it's like all your childhood dreams, like stuff you couldn't do when you get on these trips, they just bring it all back. We had a we had a karaoke, we had an NAA karaoke show. So it's like different people got to sing different songs, and it was just everybody was cheering for everybody. It was just insane. The views from Alaska are amazing. And it's like, the rooms that we had to give us the view that we had of, looking at the uh, the iceberg and just different views from Alaska, the rooms that we had, people, I'm looking on YouTube, people don't want to pay the premium for the rooms that we had. So this is how the Alliance take care of us. So not only is the trip free, but the way they send us out, like the way they set us up, people don't want to pay when they go take a trip themselves. So that's why we love the Alliance. Like I appreciate Andy for setting this up, Andy and the carriers, because the things that they do for us, they don't have to do. We could pay for our own upgrades. We could have paid for our own drink package, but they just give it to us because we serve them and they serve us, and it's a reciprocal relationship. And so that's how it is being on these trips, y'all. You cannot miss Cabo. I'm telling you, if you've been to Cabo before, and I want to get into some tips before I turn it over to Mimi. If you've been to Cabo before, you got to understand it's different going with the Alliance. So we have a different experience, and I'm going to get into some things that kind of help you win. I'm going to talk about that a little bit, but just understand you have to figure out how to get there. So no matter what, you got to be in Cabo. So you do not want to miss it. Um, it's next year, but understand next year will be here fast. So you got to figure out how to get there this year. So I'm going to go over a few things to kind of help you win, because here's what I know. It took me 2 years. So when I first got into business, it took me 2 years to hit my first trip. Once I hit my first trip, I never missed another one, because once you understand how we roll, you do not want, like, you're gonna have the fear of missing out. FOMO, right? So you're gonna have FOMO. So it's like, oh my God, what are they doing? Like, I don't, if I were to ever miss another Alliance trip, here's what I pictured in my mind. I pictured in my mind, for the 5 or 7 days that they're gone, every plane that's flying over my head, I'm going to get mad, because I'm like, that I'm supposed to be on that plane to Cabos, to Paris, wherever the Alliance is going. I should be on that plane there. So I'll be mad the whole time. I do not want you to experience that. There were people who could have made Alaska who didn't, and who knows what they're going through. And so I'm going to help those who didn't make it to get the Cabos, and also those who made it to Alaska. You got to get the Cabos now. So it's a continued fight. It's a continued effort. So a couple quick things that I want you to think about, um, to make sure that you make it to Cabo. One thing for sure is you have to want to go. So again, if you've been to Cabo before, I understand, but you cannot be jaded. You cannot be jaded, and you cannot be over it. Some people are like over it. It's like, oh, I've been there before, no big deal. I'm letting you know you're gonna mess up your speed. You're gonna mess up your thought process. You're gonna mess all that up, and you will not make it to Cabos. If you're thinking in your head, I've been there before, it's not that important, you won't go. If you're thinking in your head, oh, I'm so over it, I done took so many trips, you will not put the effort in to go. So number one, you have to get your thinking right. Don't be jaded. Want to go to Cabo. All right. So that's one of the biggest tips I can give you, is you have to want to go to Cabo. Another thing I can let you know to make it to Cabo is know what counts. So when you look at all the different carriers that we have, you got to know what counts towards your Cabo trip. So if you're writing a bunch of Medicare subs, just understand that don't have the numbers to Cabo that writing the final expense or IUL and annuity will have. So you can help your clients any way you want, but just know what counts towards your Cabo trip. Just understand what counts. So for a minute there, Foresters didn't count. So the more Foresters you wrote, it didn't count. But now Foresters count. So now any Foresters you wrote from January to now all counts towards your Cabo trip. So congratulations for that. But just know what counts towards your trip, and just write that carrier accordingly. Two more things. Aim to win the trip in October. So if you're talking to me, I'm going to always assist you. Like if somebody go, I got to December 31st. No, you do not. You have till October 1st to win the trip. So if you're brand new, so if you're a seasoned veteran, you should be aiming to win the trip next month. That way you should be trying to get the extension. But if you're brand new on this call, if this is your first trip, you should be aiming for October 1st, not December 31st. A lot of stuff happens in November, December. You need that as far as to clean up, to keep policies on the books. That's to be in addition to you winning the trip, whatever extra money you want to make. But you do not want to be in December scrambling to make the trip. I've been there before. It's a lot of stress. Can you imagine it being December 10th? Can you imagine it being December 10th and you got about 20,000 more points to get? So you got 20 policies to write in the next few days. You talk about the pressure, like that type of pressure and not being able to sleep because you don't want to miss the trip. Like you don't want to go through that. So if you don't want to go through that, aim for October. I promise you, it'll be a lot more easier. You'll sleep better. And, life will be different for you. And the last thing, make sure all your business stick, have good customer service. Just make sure everything sticks. You do not want to get to December and they get some chargebacks and then you can't make the trip. So just make sure you have good customer service. Make sure it can fit the budget of your clients. That way they're happy, they're covered, and then you're going on the trip. So those are the tips I can give you. Make sure you're in Cabos with us. Up next, we got Mimi Romero. We had a great time in Cabos. She was at dinner with us every night. We saw her in the dining room. It was so fun seeing my Alliance family. We're going to see each other, in the next couple of weeks at family reunion. But up next, we got Miss Mimi Romero.
Rico, I kill it. Those amazing tips. And I agree with you. Every single veteran on this call should earn the trip. I'm mad at myself because normally I earn it by June and I haven't earned it yet. I'm getting there. I'm in the field right now. As you can see, I'm in my car. So you don't want to be stressed out. A couple of years ago, I did exactly what Jeremy was saying not to do. I earned that trip in December. That's when my dad passed away. I'm still proud I did it, despite the fact that I went through a lot with his sickness and death and everything. I still did it, but it was stressful. So listen to what he said. Those were amazing tips. Oh my God. Alaska trip. That was an amazing trip. It got to be one of my favorites. I love all of them, by the way. But this one was just so different. It's so different to be in the presence of everybody, like Jeremy Cole was saying, but to see different things, man. I never spent 8 days in a boat, and I'm from the Caribbean. So I didn't even know I could survive it. I bought me all kinds of medicine. I don't know about all that, but I did well. We had fun. Like Jeremy said, I don't want to repeat anything else that he already said, but it's just we enjoyed the same very things. I love the view. We had a wonderful room with a balcony on it, so we saw all the glaciers. That was one of my favorite, and I enjoyed British Columbia as well. And we went whale watching. We had a wonderful experience with the whale, and then went to Bacon Salmon. I don't know. I can keep going on and on. It was an amazing trip, and then the ability to network with the carriers and the other Alliance members, one-on-one time with Andy, and coaching. It's not just you drinking and partying when you're on those trips. If you crazy enough, you will also have some good networking and get some good tips from these people performing at a level that you probably not, so you can grow your business. It's so worth it. It's worth everything. And you need a break to begin with. So what I'm gonna do, Jeremy, you set the ground for me to talk about how to win that trip. I want to talk to the new people starting right now, because Jeremy could cover all the people who's already been with us, new this year with us. I want to show how even somebody who's starting now can win the trip. Okay, first, the bonus points. You got to go to convention. You go to convention. I tell you why you should go. You get educated. You associate with other people to help you grow your business. And you get to see the headquarters. So you go to convention. If you brand new, first convention with us, you get 100,000 bonus points. If you don't know what points are, for every dollar of insurance we sell, you get a point towards the trip. So brand new people, you get 100,000 points on the first event. It's coming up August 2nd to the 4th in North Carolina. And then the second event that we have is in October 18th to the 20th. That's another opportunity to get an additional 25,000 points. So as a brand new agent, you get half of that trip. If you're starting now, if you're starting earlier this year, you get way more points than that. So that's half of the trip. So Mimi, it's already July. How can I make it to the trip? What you have to do, you take 250,000, subtract 125, then it gives you 125,000 left. So if when you're starting right now, I'm gonna say what Jermico said is true for me, for some other people, but for you, you might need a little more cushion. So let's say if we stretch it to, don't get mad at me, Jermico, to 6 months, then that's mean you will have to produce about 21,000 per month to hit the trip. Don't wait, like he said. Maybe you can make it to 25,000 or 30,000, so that way you don't have to wait until December. But in case you do the minimum, that's what you have to do. How do you issue pay 25,000 per month, Mimi? I don't know how to do it. You got to tell me. Sure. So you have to invest about $500 per week in leads, so that way you can put in 5,000 in AP, in premium, every week. Hopefully you'll issue those 20,000. It can be more, especially if you bug whoever's coaching you, you bug them, call them, ask questions, stick to a schedule, and all these things. I'm giving you guys a lot of practical stuff to do. Don't underestimate any of them, because they're all part of that plan to make sure you hit Cabo. So call your upline, ask for coaching, stick to a schedule, run your appointment. You make a lot of money if you do those things. Okay? You will make a lot of money. You keep your money, you earn the points, you go to the trip. So $500. Okay, maybe I don't have $500. My goal, guys, is to debunk all your excuses. I don't have $500. Guess what? If you're in my team, you don't have $500, talk to me. If you're in anybody's team, say Mimi said to talk to you. Anybody else's team. So what you can do also, if you know people, you have a network, reach out to your people. If you don't know how to talk to them, I will hook you up with Cleo, who part-time already made $20,000 reaching out to her people that she knows. Part-time. She already made $20,000. I mean, she had 3 other jobs. Let's do this one part-time. Don't spend any money on leads. She's barely starting to dial leads right now. So you know people. You go to church, you go to the store, you go exercise wherever, you meet people on the street. Talk. People need what we have. We have the best product. So talk to people. Hey, can you give me a chance to show you what I have? What do you have for insurance? Or something like that. So that way, while you don't have the $500 to spend now, you can bring some money in and then talk to your upline, and your upline can help you. Maybe you can put 200, your upline put 300, helping you out. Put some skin in the game, so that way you can earn the trip. That's all I want to talk about, guys. And I know Adams probably has something to add to teach you guys on how to win that trip. Adam, it was nice being with you on the trip. We had a thanks for all your help. and all the time we spend together. So now you take them away, Adam. Tell them why they need to be on those trips.
Sounds good, Mimi. I had a great time with you too. We had dinner all the
Thank
time
you.
with our friends and family on that trip. It was not that we had to, we wanted to. We wanted to. We had such a great time. I got a lot of one-on-one time with Stephen and Holly, Andy and Jane. That was very much appreciated because that kind of mentorship is important in this industry. You don't know everything. You're not going to figure it all by yourself. It's important for you to know and talk with people who can help you and who generally care about your success, and they certainly do. It was a great trip. Cindy and I have done a lot of traveling. We've been to dozens of countries in our 26 years of marriage together. Cindy was very well traveled, as was I before we got married 26 years ago. It was nice that we were able to spend our 26th anniversary in Alaska last week. That was really special for us. The hotels were fantastic. I've stayed in a lot of hotels, and some of them were not so great. This one was wonderful. Both hotels, just beautiful hotels, beautiful locations and scenery. The ship, high quality ship. I've been on some cruises before where I felt kind of iffy about getting on the ship when we kind of walk around. We're wondering how well is this thing maintained. This ship was very well maintained, very clean, a lot of attention to detail. The food was wonderful. We had, in fact, I came home, I think I was probably about 10 pounds heavier, which didn't used to be a problem for me until I turned 50. And so it's a problem for me now. So I'm going to be hitting the gym a lot this week and next week to get that way down. That tells you how much good food we had. What I appreciated too is that our rooms, all the rooms had balconies. And we were placed on the side of the ship that was always facing the place or the scenery that we wanted to go see. So we were able to see whales from our balcony on the ship. We were able to see glaciers. We were able to see the beautiful mountains. The scenery was absolutely incredible. Oh, there are a lot of folks who were kind of clamoring to try to get these views on the deck of the ship because their room didn't have a balcony, but ours did. That was true of all the Alliance people. We all had balconies. So that really shows how much the Alliance and the carriers care about us because they made sure that we weren't just on a good ship, we also had great rooms too, which we really appreciated. A lot of sea lions. I have never seen anything so massive before. Those whales and sea lions were just incredible. We learned a lot about our business on this trip too, which made it an additional success. We talked a lot about trusts. Andy held a special meeting to talk about how to recruit using LinkedIn. We had some people there from the Alliance who specialize in social media for the Alliance, and so they helped us a lot with how to advertise on LinkedIn. Mimi and I were able to attend that class together. I learned a lot, and I was able to pass it on to my employee who does recruiting for me here in the office, and she just found that information invaluable. So we really appreciated the opportunity to not just spend time with the carriers and our fellow agents and learn from them and just spend time and enjoy their company, but we also really were able to learn some things too that we didn't know before that are just going to add to our success this year. So I tell folks all the time, never miss an event. I'll tell you what I have found among agents that are successful and those that are not is really comes down to really one thing I find. Are they going to attend the events the moment they get started? If they don't realize that they are hindering their success or growth. Stephen told me that when I first joined, coming up on 3 years ago now, this coming August. And I didn't fully appreciate it until I attended just what he meant by that, how true that is. By attending the events, you learn things. I never come home from an event, and that includes our trip to Alaska here. I never come home from an event without learning something that I didn't know before that I will be able to implement and immediately make money with. Immediately. No question. I'm going to be able to implement things that are going to make my business even more successful than it already has been this year. And I'm on schedule to do 600,000 this year. If everything continues to go as I think it will. And it's because largely events. So I tell folks all the time, do not miss these events. The events also give you points that make it easier for you to go to the Cabo trip next year. You're going to get bonus points by attending our events like Family Reunion, View from the Edge, Breakthrough, those kind of events. They'll give you trip points that help you win the event for next year. Consistency, though, I think is really key, guys. I mean, to go to Jeremico's point, we've been gone for 10 days on vacation. And so now we've got to get back into the routine again and get back to work. And that just really highlights how important consistency is. Consistency is the key to success. I appreciate it, how now for Cabo, Foresters will be giving us our trip points again, which is retroactive to January of this year. So anything you sold up to this point in 2024 that was a Forester product, you immediately now have those trip points going forward, and all the other products you sell with Foresters going forward will give you trip points again. So that was a huge thing that was announced at the ship that I would not have learned or not have seen unless I was there. And so it was nice to be able to get that new information, right there on the ground. But that's my suggestions, guys. We have View from the Edge coming up real soon, or family reunion that is coming up real soon. Be there. Be there. Do whatever you have to do. It's so important to me that not only will Cindy and I be there, but our employees are going to be there with us. Because we know that we will not just learn things, but they will learn things. And it'll recharge their batteries, just as it does for us. That is how determined I am to make sure I attend all of our events. And they're that successful, that important to us. Now, I see on here, Chandler, that Kath Shaw Truelove is on with us. Is she going to speak as well, or is it going to end with me?
I think it's gonna end with you. I think she's just listening in.
Very good. Well, it's nice to have Kath. She's a heavy hitter, just getting started with us and already selling lots of policies. Kath, I'm impressed.
Hey there, guys.
He just came to my one of my seminars a few months ago, and look at you, you're already rocking and rolling.
Adam, I can't tell you how grateful I am about that. I was just sharing that with my husband, that I was literally showing him your picture saying, this is the guy I went to Atlanta to see.
I'm glad. I hope it was worth your while, and I'm glad you came.
It was. Seeing another person do the same thing was really, really valuable. I'm glad I did it. Yep. And then just giving myself a little grace, also, just allowing myself to build upon with each seminar each time. And then the one-on-one meetings, there's a couple that were really hard. People come at you with all sorts of digs and jabs, and you have to be prepared for that.
Right.
But once I grew a little bit of a thicker skin, I was able the second month to come in a little bit better. And I did 10 last week, and that felt good because I could pay some bills.
Right. And you're just getting started. If you can do 10 in 1 week, you're going to kill this, Kath. You're gonna absolutely kill it doing this. I've got an appointment here in a few minutes. I'm gonna have to let everybody go, but I've got an appointment tonight from one of our events where my commission on that one sale is going to be over 10 grand today.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that amazing how we come back from Alaska yesterday?
Right.
I come into the office today. I don't get started till 10 because that's the kind of guy I am. I got started at 10 o'clock today. I'm going to have a few nice appointments, and I'm going to end my day with a $10,000 commission, all from a seminar I did about maybe 4 weeks ago. So
yeah, I'm really grateful for Annexus as well as Chris Norris, because they've just I've been in touch with both of them, and it's been really good collaborating.
Good. Well, it's nice to have you with us. Everybody, we're gonna have to let you guys go, get back to work and do your thing, and have a good week. And we'll see you at the next Monday message next week on Monday. Take care, everybody.